Live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into coverage of the 2023 Women's Soccer Season Finale. Today on Senior Day, it is Soma United FC Club Day as well here at Dolphin Soccer Park, and the College of Staten Island will take on Molloy University. This is Joe Foreman alongside my broadcast partner Aaron Cohen. And Aaron, in just a minute or so, we will begin our Senior Day presentation, so you and I will step aside, but we have a must-win matchup the Dolphins are facing today. It's an exciting afternoon here at the College of Staten Island.
Yeah, lots of playoff implications, Joe. It's exciting. I feel like it's an energy that Dolphin Soccer Park hasn't been able to experience a lot in recent years. And, you know, there's still a lot of things out of the Dolphins' control. They're waiting on some results from Queens that they need to go their way and in order for them to get into the playoffs, along with them having to win this game against Molloy. So it's not all on their shoulders. They're relying on some other things, but the excitement is still there. The energy is here. It's Senior Day. It's just feeling like a great day to be a Dolphin, Joe, and not just for this short-term season, but just going forwards. There's actually a real element of hope and optimism here for the Dolphins, and it's a really nice thing to feel. The environment is good.
It's absolutely going to be a great atmosphere today as both the women's soccer team and the men's soccer team vie for a spot in the East Coast Conference playoffs. Both teams must win, and when Aaron and I come back following our Senior Day presentation, we'll talk a bit more about the playoff scenarios and what must happen for the Dolphins to make the postseason. So for now, we will step aside and turn it over to our public address announcer, Andrew Rotundo, who will be the master of ceremonies for our 2023 Women's Soccer Senior Day presentation. On the other side of our ceremony, NCAA Division II Women's Soccer, an East Coast Conference battle between the College of Staten Island and Molloy University. Playoff spot for the Dolphins on the line.
Gentlemen, ahead of today's game, we would like to take the time to recognize 7 Dolphins who will be moving on from the women's soccer program following their graduation this season. We would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge their contributions to the program individually ahead of their final home game here at Dolphin Soccer Park. Our first senior arrived at the College of Staten Island for the 2023 season, but she very quickly earned the support of her teammates. She made her CSI debut late in the team's 5-1 victory over Lincoln University earlier this month and took the pitch to a rousing ovation from the Dolphins bench and supporters in attendance. Though she played just a few minutes in that game, her impact with the program has clearly extended beyond that pitch. Today, we get the chance to welcome her to the pitch with a round of applause once more. Our senior, number 21, Valbona Suma. Valbona is joined on the field by CSI Director of Athletics Chase Licata, her coaches, and family members. She is also being presented with a frame commemorating her time with the Dolphins, courtesy of CSI Athletics. One more round of applause for Valbona Suma. Our second senior also arrived at the College of Staten Island this season, and in her short time with the program, she has managed to make a major impact on the pitch. She is one of only 3 Dolphins to start all 14 games this season, and is also one of 3 Dolphins to score multiple goals in a single game this season. Last week, she found the back of the net 3 times and helped lead the Dolphins to a big conference victory over Lincoln with a 2-goal effort. A driving force behind the team's late-season playoff push, her impact on the program during the final days of the regular season has been profound. Our senior, number 11, Juliana Carr. One more round of applause for Juliana Carrara. Our third senior arrived ahead of the 2022 season and battled injury in an effort to make it back on the field. Though she did not play the game last season, she returned to the program for the 2023 season and assumed a role as a team manager. Throughout the season, she has often been one of the first to arrive at Dolphin Soccer Park on game day as part of her new role and has managed to contribute greatly to the program without playing a single minute. Our senior, Gabby Guerra Oaks. One more round of applause for Gabby Guerra Oaks.
Yep.
Our fourth senior arrived at CSI last season and did not make her CSI debut until late in the 2022 season. However, she returned for the 2023 season and immediately made it clear that she was going to be a major piece of the Dolphins roster this season. She has started and appeared in all but one game this season, scoring 2 goals to go along with a pair of assists. Most notably, she helped the Dolphins erase a 2-goal deficit in a 3-3 draw against Georgian Court earlier this year with a 3-point effort in that match. One of several Dolphins who have posted career numbers this season, she will be missed when she departs the program this year. Our senior, number 20, Ariel Uwe. One more time for Ariel Uwe. Our next senior is one of 3 graduating Dolphins who joined the team for the 2021 season. Each year since joining the program, she has earned more playing time and posted bigger numbers, all accumulating with career highs in games played, starts, goals, and minutes this year. She scored her first career goal earlier this season at St. Thomas Aquinas and scored twice more at Dolphin Soccer Park in the very next game. She is 52 minutes shy of reaching 1,000 minutes played on the season, and her physicality and attacking presence will be missed as she departs the program. Our senior, number 6, Coco Rodriguez. Let's hear it one more time for Coco Rodriguez. Our next senior also joined the Dolphins 2 years ago and immediately assumed the major role. In her first season with the team, she played over 1,200 minutes across 14 games and contributed her first goal as a Dolphin. The following season, she found the back of the net 3 times in just 12 games, playing just shy of 900 minutes. However, 2023 has been her best season yet. She currently leads the conference in assists with 7 and has added 3 more goals to give her 7th for the career. She will depart the program upon receiving her doctorate degree in physical therapy this year and will be difficult to replace as a leader on and off the field. Our senior, team captain, number 2, Jackie D'Amico. Let's hear it for Jackie D'Amico. Our final senior also arrived at CSI in 2021 and was one of only 2 Dolphins to appear in and start every game that season. She finished that season 1 minute shy of 1,1600, hardly ever leaving the pitch in 18 games. She then appeared in and started all but 1 game last season and racked up 1,157 minutes in 13 contests. She will surely eclipse 1,300 minutes today, and for the 2nd time in her career, she will start and appear in every game. A difference maker defensively, on the field, she has also served as a leader for the program off of it. Please welcome our final senior, captain number 27, Megan Marr. One more round of applause for Megan Marr and our 2023 Women's Soccer Senior Class.
Should I say John? So,
I thought you were going to be a salami. He's like, I don't know who you are. See, you're kind of like, you know my sister.
We thank our officials and Molloy University for their patience during our Senior Day presentation. At this time, we will give the teams a few moments to get prepared for the playing of the national anthem and the introduction of the starting lineups ahead of today's East Coast Conference women's soccer matchup.
The Aesthetics Med Spa and Wellness Center. Our approach to beauty and wellness begins with a holistic plan tailored to the unique needs of our patients. When we consult with patients, we let them tell us what their problem is. We don't tell them what the issue is. We find out what they're looking for, and we discuss, and then we give them options. If you're looking to achieve radiant skin, you've come to the right place. We offer hydrofacials, microneedling, Opus Plasma, peels, facial and laser treatments, laser hair removal, body sculpting, fat freezing, hormone replacement therapy, Botox, IV drip therapy, and more. We are open Monday through Saturday and are located at 720 Forest Avenue, Staten Island, New York, 10310. We hope to see you soon. Visit our website at www.chiaesthetics.com for more information. From Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you back into NCAA Division II women's soccer coverage live on the ECC network. In today's must-win conference matchup, the College of Staten Island Dolphins take on Molloy University. Good morning, everybody. Once again, this is Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside my broadcast partner, Aaron Cohen. And Aaron, we didn't get a chance to talk about it ahead of our Senior Day presentation, but the Dolphins obviously in a must-win situation. They will need some help today, but you have to think that the odds are on the side of the Dolphins if they do come away with the win today.
That's right. They're 1 point behind Queens College right now. They need to be able to hop Queens College in order to get into the playoffs. Queens College playing DUville today, so that is a matchup that could go favorably for the Dolphins. DUville is ahead of Queens in the standings, but nothing's ever for certain, and this is a matchup that the Dolphins feel like they can take something from Molloy. It's going to have to happen if they want to get into the playoffs, and they are motivated, Joe.
They certainly are, Aaron, and this is something that the fans here at Dolphin Soccer Park haven't experienced before. You touched on it during our lead-up to the Senior Day presentation. 2 must-win games for our soccer program today in what has undoubtedly been the biggest doubleheader the Dolphins have hosted as a Division II program. We're very excited to bring it to you here on CSI Sportsnet. Starting lineups are being introduced out on the pitch, and Aaron, you have the starting lineups for both teams.
I do have the starting lineups for both teams, so there will be a little bit of symmetry here. You can see the lineup standing out in the center of the field. Dolphins have their mascots, but let's go through these lineups. So, for the visiting Molloy University Lions, we have in numerical order in goal, number 1, Elise Munoz. Then we have Joanna Mosiri. We have Sarah Tapetto, Olivia Ingenito, Madison Keenan, Alessandra Borsellino, Natalia Pietrowski, Abigail Smith, Jackie Murphy, Victoria Bustamante, and Lauren Marinello. Those are the starters for Molloy. And for your home Dolphins, we have in goal, we have Sarah Velacris. She's back in goal after, a few games, especially last home game where she was not in net, potentially some rest for her, but now she is back. Our center backs are the same center back pairing we've had essentially all season, so that's Emily Albano and Megan Marr. Left back, we have Ariel Uy. Right back, we have Gabriela Castro, so the very settled back four that Dolphins fans are used to seeing. And then we have 2 defensive midfielders today, and that is Adriana Melger and Ina Kolka. And then we have 3 up front in front of them, and that is Colleen Rodriguez on the left, Jacqueline D'Amico in the middle, and on the right, starting for Senior Day, is Valbona Suma, number 21. And then up front, we have number 11, Juliana Carrara.
Those are the starting lineups for both teams ahead of today's game. The Dolphins getting many of their seniors in the starting lineup. In fact, I think they have all of their seniors that are on the active roster starting here today. So that's nice to see. In a must-win game, they're sure to play a role early in this game at the very least. We mentioned the scenarios. The Dolphins must win. They need some help from DUville University. What we didn't talk about, Aaron, is that DUville is the road team in that game. So traveling all the way down to Flushing from Buffalo may put them at a disadvantage. We will be following the scores from all of the other games that impact the Dolphins throughout our broadcast here today. So throughout the broadcast, we'll have some programming alerts up on your screen. Those will reflect the scores elsewhere in the East Coast Conference. However, the other games in the conference that impact the Dolphins don't get underway until a bit later. So there will be some time that passes before we get you any of the scores from around the conference. However, once those games get started, we will get you updated on the games that impact the Dolphins in terms of their playoff positioning. Last time we saw this Dolphins team, it was a 1-0 loss to Goldie Beacom. We'll talk a bit more about that after the playing of the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to remind you that the NCAA and the College of Staten Island promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, sexist, or other intimidating comments or actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are granted removal from Dolphin Soccer Park. Consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages and tobacco products is prohibited. Fans be advised that artificial noisemakers, air horns, and electronic amplifiers are not permitted, and fans are not to enter the field to play at any time. We thank you for your cooperation and enjoy the game.
And we are back from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island. And you just watched the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's, of course, our scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island, bringing you our pregame show each and every CSI Dolphins home game. And Aaron, next time we're on the air for a Sportsnet broadcast that includes voice, it will be for basketball next month in November. The Tournament of Heroes tips off on November 10th. That is sure to be an exciting time, but a lot of excitement on deck here today. Women's soccer, men's soccer, both in a must-win situation. Women's soccer takes the pitch first. What are you looking for from the Dolphins today in this huge situation, a situation they haven't experienced before?
Yeah, I'm just looking for energy. You know, every time I talk to Coach Mendolia, he just has the utmost belief in his team. He really instills a nice mentality into them, makes them feel like they can take on any opponent. He talks a lot about life lessons. He talks a lot about togetherness of the group and how hard they've worked and the goals they've worked to achieve. One of the things he shared with me earlier today was that they had a goal to make it into the playoffs from the very start of the season, and so that's something they're really looking forward to. So I think beyond anything tactically, there's just an energy here that this is a game that they're going to go out and take by the scruff of the neck. And I'm expecting that energy to translate into success on the field. In terms of tactics, Coach Mendolia was given some notes about getting the wingbacks wide up the field and creating overloads in wide spaces, but making sure to do it intelligently and when it makes sense and not to go just to go. You know, and there's a lot of nuances that go into that. And they've been working on it in training. He also talked a little bit about fatigue, so trying to make sure that they have the energy. He kind of feels like their loss to Goalie Beacom was slightly due to fatigue. So a little bit of around the horn there on things you might be expecting to see from the Dolphins today in their performance.
Positivity, togetherness, and dedication, the foundation for success. That is straight off the women's soccer recruiting document that we created throughout this year. I worked with Coach Mendolia to put that together. He did a great job in helping me with the information I needed to complete that document, and some of our potential recruits may get to see that at our athletics open house, which will be hosted tomorrow in Building 1R here on the campus of the College of Staten Island. And Coach Mendolia hopes to boast a playoff team in his first season as head coach. The Dolphins have that opportunity, but they must win today against Molloy University. The Lions come in having locked up a playoff spot. However, they could lose their home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs with a loss here today. So something is on the line for the Lions. Not quite as high stakes a matchup for them as it is for the College of Staten Island. And we are underway from Dolphin Soccer Park. College of Staten Island takes on Molloy University, an East Coast Conference playoff spot on the line for the Dolphins. Lions chasing after this ball as it rolls down toward the corner. It was met there by Murphy. Murphy, one of the Lions' captains, as the Lions will look to work it up the far sideline. Bustamante was able to avoid a challenge, but the Dolphins do get possession back for a brief moment. Lions early send one toward goal. That's high and wide as Villacrest watches it sail up into the netting. Early goal kick for the Dolphins. Sarah Villacrest back in net for the College of Staten Island. Got the non-conference game off against Goldie Beacom earlier in the week, and Brianna Dorr played extremely well in her absence. Several huge saves late in that game, but it wasn't enough as the Dolphins conceded a goal just 66 seconds into that match. And for the Lions, or I should say for the Lightning, that was enough. Kolka gets that one away to Uwe. Uwe, one of the Dolphins seniors. This is D'Amico looking for Rodriguez. And that ball rolls down toward the corner. Ball sent back into the midfield by Murphy. Uwe tracking it down. Sarah Tapetto close by as it winds up on the foot of Villacrest, who sends it across the midfield stripe, headed in the other direction by Keenan. Uwe will watch it roll over the sideline, throw in Staten Island. Kolka just got it away for Uwe. Melger meets that ball in the midst of several Molloy defenders and got it back to her goalkeeper, Villacrest, who sends it out of play.
Bit of a testy start. Both teams still trying to feel their way into the game, but I think what Molloy is trying to do is assert their dominance early and try and establish a dynamic where they are in control.
Long throw, cleared the head of Marr. Chance here for the Lions. Rodriguez tried to stop the cross, could not, but Marr does get there to break it up. Early opportunity off the long throw from Molloy. Melger in the midfield, looking for Suma, but that pass a bit too strong. Molloy will throw. Uwe heads the throw back toward midfield onto the foot of Suma. Suma, one of the Dolphins seniors, getting her first career start today for the Dolphins. Marinello played it up ahead to Inganito. It was redirected and then sent back out to midfield. Chasing it down is Murphy. Murphy barely able to keep it in. She wasn't sure that she did. And the Dolphins take possession. Carrara to Kolka. Kolka avoids a challenge from Keenan. Here comes Carrara. D'Amico looks to send it toward the far side. Castro couldn't get there, but Melger takes it away. Rodriguez for Melger. Looking to move into the attacking third. Rodriguez got a foot on it. Marciri thought about clearing it away. Instead, she plays it back to her goalkeeper, Elise Munoz.
One quick roster note I'd like to make before we get too far into the broadcast is that Isabella Radovini did not start today, but Mendolia did tell me she is available to play. She missed the previous 2 games due to a back injury, but there is a good chance we will see her in this game at some point.
Dolphins certainly hope to have her for an extended stay in this one. Among the conference leaders in goals and points, and comes in CSI's leading goal scorer. Dolphins certainly missed her attacking prowess against Goldie Beacom. CSI did have chances in that game, but just wasn't quite the same without the conference's leader in shots out there. Of course, it was a non-conference matchup the other day against the Lightning. And on cue, Radovini's in the game.
There you go.
Right on time. Suma to the bench. Radovini enters with 40 minutes to go in the first half. That one sent over the far sideline by Castro. Lions will throw from right in front of the CSI bench. Dolphins sideline sporting some brand new coverings. Some shade for the players on the bench. Those coverings look really good, especially from up here in the press box. As the Lions looked to cross there, it was broken up by the Dolphins, sent into the air, and headed back into the box by Molloy. Chance here for the Lions, and Villacrest is there.
Really nice creative header there from, I believe that was Bustamante. Just putting it right over the defenders' heads into a good space for a shot. Unfortunately for Lions fans, that shot was pretty tame. Villacrest handles easily.
That ball bounces toward the near side, and Molloy will throw in. Marr giving chase down toward the corner. And that will earn the Dolphins a goal kick as Marr wins the foot race against Inganito. Villacrest will take this goal kick. taken shy of midfield, headed back toward the penalty area by Molloy. Kolka got a foot on it, tries to get it away, but instead was dispossessed and fouled. Free kick, Staten Island. Albano will take the free kick. It's a long one up toward the far side, and that will roll over the far sideline where Molloy will throw. Throwing onto the foot of Bustamante. Melger in heavy traffic got it away. Castro looking for Radavini. Pass was cut off on its way to Radavini by Abigail Smith. And now the Lions move across midfield. Bustamante over to Keenan. That was Borsellino, and once again the Dolphins disrupt. Uwe looking toward Radavini. And that's a good ball. Radavini in a foot race. And Radavini had a chance, but she was cut off nicely by Smith. However, Radavini continues to battle, and the Dolphins win a throw-in.
That's that work rate we're used to seeing from Radavini. She's not only top-tier talent, but she's top-tier in that effort as well.
Uwe, long throw toward the penalty area, headed by D'Amico. Rodriguez, bicycle kick off target. And that would have been a highlight reel score if Rodriguez had been able to pull it off. Some early excitement for the spectators here at Dolphin Soccer Park.
Well, what improvisation from Rodriguez. You know, she just found herself with her back to goal, didn't feel like she had much in terms of passing options, and went for it in the moment. And, you know, she's been hot in the latter half of the season, so when you get that confidence, you'll try some things. And, you know, never know, might work out.
I love the attempt. And if it's on target, that's a very difficult save for a goalkeeper who might not expect that shot. Albano for Kolka. Kolka works toward the far side. Rodriguez did not get a foot on it. And that ball will roll all the way back to Marciri, who plays it along the far sideline and back to her keeper. Munoz directing traffic. Marciri moving forward slowly here. Sends it back to Munoz. Smith, pressured by Radavini. Marciri, far side. And the Dolphins earn a throw.
Molloy, very slow approach, trying to keep possession. Dolphins not really known to press highly and super intensely, and they're trying to make Molloy uncomfortable back there right now.
That ball ends up on the foot of Marr. Played back to Villacres. Albano. Pressured by Marinello along the far side. And the Dolphins are forced to commit a foul.
Bit of a mistake there from Albano. She felt like she had the space to turn, but Marinello was too shifty. Managed to stick a foot in, and when now a promising opportunity to get a shot on target for her team.
Molloy earns the free kick inside of 35 minutes to play in the first half. They had a good opportunity off of a throw-in earlier. That one sent toward the middle of the box and cleared into the air by Albano. Headed by Castro. Sent back the other way by Keenan. Uwe. Marr back to Uwe. And Inganito was right in the middle of both of them, trying to come up with the takeaway. Radavini able to keep it in along the sideline into the attacking third, working against two defenders. And that ball takes a bad bounce if you're the Dolphins toward the keeper. And
hold up.
I think the Dolphins have been awarded the corner kick. How about that?
Well, as the viewers will know, we try to stay relatively objective, and I will give my opinion that I don't think that went out. I don't really know how that call was made, but it works in favor for the home team. So hopefully they can make the most of it.
Well, Aaron, I'm 100% with you. Watching it from up here, given we're at midfield, we're elevated about maybe 50 feet in the air. We're not that close, but I certainly did not think that ball went out.
Sometimes when you make calls, you have to trust the body language of the athletes. And the goalkeeper and everyone else made it seem like she definitely got there.
Corner by Rodriguez, a good one! And that may have been punched out of the air by Munoz. It looked like Kolka got there, and Kolka stayed down for a few seconds afterward, but the Dolphins nearly turned that corner kick into a goal-scoring opportunity.
Kolka is a big body. She can cause problems in the box. 5'7", very tall for a women's college soccer player, but you have to give credit to Munoz there. Sometimes you don't get all the contact that you want, but you got to get something in order to keep the ball out of the danger zone, and that's what Munoz did. A little bit of an unorthodox bat, but it worked.
Well, the Lions are moving in now. We'll have to cut away from this replay as that ball ended up sent off the fence in the corner, and now Molloy will have a corner kick of their own, but I didn't get a chance to catch the tail end of that replay. We're watching it on the monitor right now. Unfortunately, our automated camera does not give us the best angle on the corner kicks. Nothing we can do about that. But it looked like Munoz may have punched it, stopping Kolka from attempting the header, and Aaron, she was in great position.
Sometimes it pays off to just stand someone on top of the keeper and make them uncomfortable.
Corner kick from Molloy does not yield an opportunity, but the Lions do keep possession as that's chipped in the air toward the corner once again. Rodriguez there defensively for the Dolphins as Molloy looks to cross, and the Lions wanted a handball. They don't get the call. Borsellino still working, sends one into the box, and that shot was blocked into the arms of Villacrest off the foot of Lauren Marinello.
They're threatening, Joe. The Lions are getting towards the box, and it's only a matter of time before they get some more substantial attempts on net. Dolphins defense got to be careful here.
Dolphins with the game's best opportunity following that corner kick, but that last chance from Molloy, a very close second. Radavini continued to work and eventually was whistled for a foul.
She's causing problems as well for everything that the Lions are doing. Radavini seemingly too hot to handle right now. She is on one for sure.
That ball sent into the attacking third by Molloy off the free kick. Uwe got a piece and sends that one off of Bustamante. Radavini gains a step on Smith. Radavini has the angle and shoots just wide. The Dolphins were that close to taking an early lead, and Aaron, that's the score that you want with the ball on her foot in that spot.
You're exactly right, Joe. Radavini, if any player on this roster, she'd be the one you pick to have a one-on-one with the keeper. And normally you'd expect her to score there. She had plenty of angle. She had the back post. Just couldn't put it on target. And you know what? She even had an option in the middle if she chose to pass with D'Amico, but I don't think D'Amico can be upset with Radavini's choice there.
Radavini with a great effort to gain a step on Smith. She then was able to dribble toward the center of the pitch and had a good favorable angle to shoot from. That's the most you can ask for if you're the Dolphins in a situation where one goal might be enough. You know, if the Dolphins go ahead, they probably ease off and try and play defense, especially if they get that one goal in the second half. I don't think there's any question the Dolphins would then play for the 1-0 victory, but Radavini had a chance there and made it happen. Did everything except put the ball in the back of the net.
I mean, already in this game, we've seen multiple instances of Radavini giving Lions left defender Abigail Smith a lot of issues. So you might hope Radavini will get a couple more chances like that, but just got to pray that she won't come to regret that miss.
I think it's certainly encouraging if you're a fan of the Dolphins to see that they've had two very good opportunities early in this game. And you have to assume that chance for Radavini won't be her last. Strong challenge by Rodriguez, and the Dolphins do take it away. Kolka working into the midfield, slows it down a bit. Melger for Marr, and that's a bad giveaway by the Dolphins. Here comes Molloy, and it's stopped by Villacrest on the shot by Inganito. Huge save by the Dolphins goalkeeper after what was nearly a catastrophic giveaway.
Just after we were talking about how Radavini might come to regret her miss, her best chance of the game is topped right there, completely through one-on-one for Inganito, and she's got to pick a corner there. It should be 1-0 in favor of the visitors right now. That is a big miss.
The CSI supporters can breathe a big sigh of relief after that one. Both teams with high-quality scoring chances these last 4 minutes or so, and neither side was able to convert. It's going to be a throw-in from Molloy here, very deep in the corner. That went off the head of Kolka. Radavini tried to get there as Kolka looked to clear that one off of Tepetto and could not. The Lions will throw in from a very similar spot here. Molloy may be looking to cross. Instead, it's a give and go. And offsides is called, no question about that. As Tepetto got the ball back from Marinello there. Flag went up, and the Dolphins are awarded a free kick.
It was a nice move, good pass by the Lions. Cross was good in theory, but it looks like Albano would have been there to cut it out anyway.
Albano looked to clear it into the midfield. Instead, sent it off of Marinello. Castro will now throw a long way out toward Radavini. Carrara. For D'Amico. D'Amico wants Radavini. And the Lions just got that ball away in time. But the Dolphins will be awarded another throw.
Want to make a quick note that at the beginning of the game and for a decent period of time, we had Uwe at right back and Castro at left. They have now switched. Uwe's on the left, Castro on the right. Something unique about the Dolphins here is that their wingbacks are relatively interchangeable. They're very flexible that way.
Off of that free kick, Radavini took a shot. That ball hit her at point-blank range when she had her back turned. You know she didn't like that. That won't stop her from engaging in this battle for possession. And finally, Molloy is able to come away with it.
Forwards have been scrappy defensively. Really nice to see. Eventually they'll come away with one, Joe.
Dolphins early in this game have played with that energy that you spoke about, Aaron. You have to like what you've seen from them so far, especially in those tangle-ups over the ball. The Dolphins have given their best effort every time. They know what's on the line today, and they've played with high energy throughout the opening minutes in this game.
They're playing with tenacity. They've got that hunger.
Dolphins struggling to clear this ball away. We wanted to foul it and get the call. Cross over the head of Castro as this ball rolls down toward the near sideline in the corner. Tepetto, met by Castro. Sends one toward the far post. An attacker on her way, but that one bounced over the head of Bustamante. That was a really good cross. And if Bustamante arrives a second sooner, that's going to result in a quality shot. Chance perhaps for another shot here as that ball traveled harmlessly through the box. Castro whiffed on the initial clearance, but Melger will bring it into the midfield. Radavini looked to send it toward Melger and Carrara, but is then able to send it off of Marciri.
Really good work from Melger to progress the ball, but that pass put Radavini in a bit of a tough position. She's got to give her a more favorable location on the outside foot there.
Throw in toward Carrara was headed by Smith, and now Molloy looks to work through the midfield. Keenan up ahead to Marinello. Marinello avoids the challenge from Nadia Evola and moves into the attacking third. That ball played back to Borsellino into the corner. Cross blocked by Uwe, but then the attempted clearance went off the line and straight onto the foot of an attacker. Fortunately for the Dolphins, the shot traveled high and wide off the foot of Borsellino.
Quick note and a substitution for the Dolphins. Colleen Rodriguez has come out for Nadia Evola, and Evola has switched into defensive mid, and she usually operates there as kind of a deep-lying playmaker. She has an eye for a long pass. And Adriana Melger has shifted out wide left, which is a space she's occupied a few times this season. You know, she's seen as very defensive, but she's got that dribbling ability going forwards.
Long ball off the free kick was sent toward Carrara and then launched back in the other direction by Marciri. Marinello plays it toward the far side. Bustamante sprinting up that sideline, met by Melger, and the Lions are awarded a throw. "22 minutes remaining in the first half from Dolphin Soccer Park. Both teams had tremendous scoring chances in this first half. Neither side able to convert yet, and we remain scoreless. First of the games that we'll be keeping track of today begins at 12:30. So we'll begin to give you some scoring updates in the second half from those games that will impact the playoff hopes for the Dolphins. Corner kick here for Molloy. Melger was waiting for it. First to it was Keenan, but the Dolphins very quickly recovered and were able to clear it away.
Corner kicks have been unconvincing for the Lions. They got to be better in that area.
Chance for a cross now, and it's straight into the arms of Villacres. She throws it ahead to Carrara. Carrara was able to keep possession following the challenge from Bustamante, and Evola's whistled for the foul. I don't think there's any question about that one.
Just a little bit too loose in possession. Carrara got her head up, didn't realize the defender was right in front of her. Just lacking a bit of sharpness and decisiveness there.
Free kick once again for Molloy. This time from just out a bit to the left of the center of the pitch.
It's a bit of an awkward position because it's too far to shoot, but it's a weird angle to cross.
And that is sent off the crossbar. Commentators jinx, Aaron. You have to watch yourself. You should know. I've done it many times this year. Fortunately for the Dolphins, that ball rebounds off the crossbar and harmlessly out of play, but not before Villacres had to reach for that crossbar and try and get a hand on it.
Well, I said it was too far to shoot, and I stand by that, Joe. She shouldn't have shot it, and it didn't work out for her.
Just like me, Aaron, doubling down. I love it. They call me the commentator's jinx, and I just own it. I double down. We're well beyond the point of doubling down now. As Evola sends that toward the far sideline, Uwe the nearest Dolphin. But Tepetto was able to get to it first, and now Uwe forced to retreat. Tepetto takes it away. And the Lions will be awarded a corner kick as Albano and Uwe both came together to prevent the cross. But the ball traveled over the touchline, and Molloy will get another chance from this far side corner.
Well, we've mentioned the Dolphins attackers pressing, but really more impressive has been the Lions. They've been all over on the high press. Really impressive work forcing the Dolphins defenders to make mistakes on the ball.
Since that Dolphins scoring chance, Molloy has really turned up the attacking pressure. As that was redirected toward goal by a Lion, Albano just got to it in time to clear. And Molloy will throw once again. And Aaron, these last, I'd say, close to 13, 15 minutes have been spent down near this end of the pitch, Dolphins haven't had much in terms of possession since Radavini's shot.
Once you get on the ball in defense, you have to find a way to keep it. Dolphins still looking for that solution.
Another cross by Molloy, cleared away by the Dolphins. Melger working against Piotrowski. Sends one up ahead toward Evola. Smith redirects into the midfield. D'Amico. Now Carrara. Carrara up toward D'Amico and Radavini, who are both there. Ball managed to split them. And now the Lions take possession.
That's a tough one, Joe, because Carrara saw a good pass. Radavini was in space, but you're at a point in the game where you just need possession. You need to settle your team. And so you don't want to discourage your forwards from taking chances, but there's a time and a place.
Murphy did a nice job to disrupt that pass as Albano was looking for Radavini. Dolphins will throw from alongside their own bench as we approach 17 minutes remaining in this first half. Ui's throw toward D'Amico. D'Amico finds Evola with some room. Smith closed the space quickly as Evola was taken down.
That was awkward. Evola went down strangely, but I think she'll be okay. She's just a little shaken up.
And now Carrara goes down. And we have a whistle. The official now checking on the Lion who collided with Evola. Initially, it looked like Evola got the worst of it. Instead, there's a Molloy player down. Dolphins have been awarded a free kick. Albano will take it. But that will have to wait as the clock has been stopped at 16:46 remaining in this first half. Dolphins bench checking on Evola. She says she's okay, gives him the thumbs up. And with a player down, we might step aside and take a break here. With 16:46 remaining in the first half, no score between the Dolphins and the Lions. We'll be right back.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends.
The commentator's jinx lives on, Aaron. The moment we sent our broadcast to break, the player who went down got up, didn't get a chance to figure out who it was as we scrambled to come back from commercial break, but we did have a quick shot off the drop ball. Nothing came of it. Easy save for Villacrest. Still no score between the Dolphins and the Lions as that's crossed toward the middle of the box. Headed twice and onto the foot of Piotrowski. Piotrowski for the corner. And did the Dolphins get a piece of that? They did not. That ball travels up and over the fence. There are now 2 soccer balls resting in the grass back beyond the Dolphins' goal and the netting immediately behind.
This is a good opportunity for the Dolphins to settle themselves. Try and sway the momentum of the game back towards their attacking end.
That ball off the goal kick was headed right into the Dolphins bench by Molloy. CSI will throw in as we approach 15 minutes to play in half number 1. It's headed up in the air. And another collision. Sees Radavini go down. Dolphins have been awarded this throw. Molloy doesn't want to give the ball up.
Head coach Steve Price of Molloy really angry with the referee on that call, and I think he's getting a bit of a calm down motion now from the referee. I think he might get a yellow card here because he's continuing to protest. Referee is allowing him to say his piece, though.
You could hear him from up here. Lions certainly were not happy with the Dolphins being awarded that throw, but they immediately take possession back, and now an opportunity for Bustamante. The ball rolling a bit too quickly for her to get there, and she did keep it in along the touchline. Villacrest was forced to scoop it up and quickly throws it ahead to Carrara. Carrara working toward the center of the pitch. Wanted Evola, pass a bit off target. Melger tries to get her foot in there, and she's whistled for a foul.
Melger's upset, didn't feel like it was a foul. But Carrara's just got to find a teammate. Dolphins can't connect passes right now.
Molloy into the attacking third once again. Kennedy along the touchline. Was dispossessed for a moment by Marr, and then Marr was fouled. Free kick Staten Island once again, 13 and a half minutes to go in the first half. Villacrest will take the kick.
I wonder, Joe, if the Dolphins are being impacted by the movement of Melger out wide. She's such a solid presence in the base of that midfield. She's a metronome, helps the passes go from one side to the other, and once you take her out of that midfield space, it becomes more difficult.
You know the Dolphins are hoping to put a goal up on the board and then perhaps revert into their best defensive lineup the rest of the way. CSI, of course, hoping it only takes one to come away with a win. As Albano sends that into her own bench. She wanted Melger on the pass. Long throw by Molloy, clears the head of Albano. Marinello, defended closely by Albano, being forced down toward the corner. Marinello tried to sell a foul there, didn't get the call. Dolphins will throw. They'll have Uwe move back a few steps. She throws toward D'Amico. It was headed out of play once again by Piotrowski. Uwe, longer throw this time, up toward Radavini. Radavini backpedaled, had possession for a moment. And once again, that ball fired down toward the corner by Molloy. Kennedy and Albano in a foot race, and Albano cleared it away over the far side. The Lions will throw once again from deep in the corner, but Aaron, they've spent a lot of time down at this end of the pitch. Dolphins need to find a way to generate something and get moving out of their own end.
They're defending pretty resolutely. It's just been on the ball where they've been making mistakes. Need to figure out a way to maintain possession, and they just still cannot get the ball to a teammate reliably.
It seems that things have broken down in the midfield quite often since that scoring opportunity for Radavini. And you said it, they've been unable to connect on those passes to break out of their own end and get something going on the attack. It's been quite some time since the Dolphins have crossed midfield with possession of the ball.
It can become, as we get a shot,
Bustamante sends it wide.
It can become difficult, Joe. The longer you go without solid position, the more eager you are to get forwards. And so once you do win the ball, you really want to make that forwards pass. But you have to keep in mind that your team's been defending for so long, and you need to be safer and keep possession to allow your team to rest on the ball. Dolphins need to find some slow possession here.
And fortunately for D'Amico, that looked like a shoulder-to-shoulder collision in real time. And in live action, that looked like it could have been much worse. Fortunately, I think it was shoulder-to-shoulder. That does earn the Dolphins a free kick inside of 10 minutes to play in the half. Albano up toward D'Amico and Melger. It's brought in by Pietrowski. Here come the Lions again, working up the far sideline. Marinello surveys. Kolka breaks up the pass. Pietrowski again for Tepetto. Tepetto sends one into the box. And the flag is up after Villacrest appeared to misplay the ball, and a yellow card has been issued to Caitlin Kennedy, who for a moment it appeared may have scored, but the flag was up, the whistle blew.
Bit of an interesting moment there. Calls from the stands for a handball. And as a Dolphins fan, you just have to feel lucky that we're not 1-0 down. And it's just cause of worry. You know, things aren't going exactly the way the Dolphins are hoping for. They brought the energy early on, but you need more than energy to win a soccer game.
Well, there's always the concern that in a game like this, with so much on the line, you come out with that burst of energy, and that's difficult to maintain sometimes for the full 90 minutes. But the Dolphins will look to cross midfield with possession here. They do. Melger was immediately swarmed by 3 Lions and gave it up. Molloy fires it right back down to the attacking third. Kolka jockeying for position with Fogarty. Bustamante goes down, and a foul is called against the Dolphins. So a free kick once again from Molloy, and it will be taken from a bit closer than the last one. What do you think they look to do here, Aaron?
This is a shooting position, Joe. If they shot from their earlier free kick that was a little bit further out, I'd expect another shot here. Unfortunate from Gabriela Castro. Bustamante kind of had her there. Castro caught with her feet flat on the ground. Should have been a little more agile there.
Lined up over the ball is Sarah Tepetto. She will take this free kick, looking to give Molloy the lead, perhaps. Could attempt to cross toward the far post. We'll see. Tepetto on goal and over the crossbar.
There's the shot, Joe. Luckily for the Dolphins, it was off target, but Villacrest has also been up to the task so far, so we know the Dolphins have faith in her to make all the saves that you could expect a goalie to make.
For much of this first half, the pressure has been firmly on the shoulders of the Dolphins goalkeeper. Even chances that did not result in shots often ended with the ball in the hands of Sarah Villacrest for one reason or another. Dolphins struggling to work the ball through the midfield, and Molloy has just been so good in those passing lanes. They have not allowed anything since the Radavini shot. Smith sends it toward the far side. Tepetto working against Melger. Tepetto forced toward the corner. Cross into traffic. Bodied away by the Dolphins. Kolka for Melger. Melger back to Uwe. Now D'Amico. D'Amico for Albano.
They got to look to switch the field here.
Long ball up toward Carrara. Marciri got a piece. And Kolka intercepted the pass, but redirected it right onto the foot of Keenan. Here come the Lions. It's chipped in the air and headed by Albano. Melger looks to keep it in, but could not. Throw in for Molloy. Just over 6 minutes to go in the first half. And the last nearly 25 minutes now have been all Lions.
It's been a frustrating period for the Dolphins, lacking in execution on the offensive side of the ball, Joe, just in almost every facet.
That one over the frame. And the Dolphins are awarded another goal kick. And I think if you're going to have a stretch like this that's been frustrating for the Dolphins, as you mentioned, it's far better to have it to end the first half, because you can talk about it at halftime, come out following the intermission and make adjustments. And, of course, you have to think there'll be some sort of halftime speech from Alex Mandolia and this coaching staff letting them know and reminding them it's now or never. They need to find a way to put something together on the attack and come away with a goal if they're going to have a shot at the postseason.
Here we go, Radavini. We haven't been able to see much of her.
Radavini works past Smith again. Radavini looking to gain a step here. Smith forced to clear, but Radavini earns the Dolphins a throw in the attacking third, and sometimes that's what you need if you're a team going through a frustrating stretch.
Got to watch Radavini in those breaks, because every time she's got a player open in the back post. So if she's ever able to get a delivery, things are going to be dangerous.
Evola chips it in the air. It lands in the box. Rolls up by the foot of Carrara. Evola takes it away again. Castro into the air. Carrara heads it toward Evola. Evola for Melger. Melger surveys. Sends one toward the center of the box. Smith on a hop. D'Amico off her foot. Radavini for Castro. Castro sends it in the air. D'Amico got a head on it, and finally Munoz is able to scoop it up.
Finally, a little bit of threat from the Dolphins. It's nice to see them getting forwards. I think I'd really like to see a little bit more composure from Gabriela Castro in those moments. Twice she had the ball with time to make a really informed decision on her pass, and twice she just kind of lumped it forwards into the middle. Got to be intelligent, especially when you're very few on chances. You have to be smart with where you place the ball, give your teammates the best possible chance to get a good attempt on goal.
It appeared that on that last sequence, maybe 2 or 3 separate times, the Dolphins chipped it in the air just hoping to get a favorable bounce. And they nearly did. We've seen D'Amico so good at directing the ball with her head, even if she's not facing her intended target, whether it be goal or a fellow attacker. As the Lions once again look to move into the penalty area with possession. Kennedy had it on her foot, but the Dolphins take it back inside of 3 minutes to play in the first half. Kolka for Melger. Melger has some room here. Carrara back to Melger. Here come the Dolphins, but instead they were looking for Radavini. And Radavini was one-on-one, Aaron, but the passing lane just wasn't there.
So much good done in that build-up, especially by Adriana Melger, and then she just completely negates it by choosing a pass that just wasn't on. Those sort of decisions on the pass that we've been seeing almost all half at this point from the Dolphins. You have to be smarter in the decisions.
I think the mindset there, if you're the Dolphins and Melger, had to be Radavini is one-on-one. She's had so much success against Smith. Give her a chance, but I think they had some more time to let that develop, and the pass was obviously off the mark.
Yeah, Melger had so much space down the left to carry the ball and potentially create a 2-on-1 situation.
Dolphins hoping for another opportunity here. Melger crosses one in the air toward Radavini. Radavini off the volley, redirected toward the outside of the box. Now looks to work past the defender, and Radavini goes down. Castro, Kolka had her shot blocked, and it's cleared away by Molloy. Uwe with 1.5 minutes to go before halftime. And that one nearly was redirected to Evola. The crowd wants a handball. They do not get the whistle. It happened very quickly, but perhaps there was a case to be made.
Referee making his stance that he doesn't want to make a controversial, potentially game-changing call, although he wasn't particularly close to the play either.
1 minute to go before halftime. And if you're a fan of CSI, you have to like what you've seen in these last couple of minutes. If you're Molloy, you have to like the way you played in the first half overall. Didn't get off to a great start, but they settled down, dominated possession, and are hoping for one more chance right here.
I think the Lions are going to be frustrated at halftime if they don't go in with a lead.
Well, it goes without saying, they had what was certainly the best chance of this game. And I think if there's one opportunity you look back on with a great deal of regret, that's it. But overall, they didn't give the Dolphins many opportunities in this first half, and you have to like that at the very least. Corner kick into heavy traffic, headed away by the Dolphins, and that's sent high and wide, as that should do it for the first half. 45 minutes gone by from Dolphins Soccer Park in a must-win game for the Dolphins as they look to qualify for the postseason. We have no score at the break. When we come back, the second half of this 2023 women's soccer season finale.
I feel like as a player, I've grown so much with this group and with my coaches, and my game has just elevated a lot more than it would have anywhere else, to be honest. So I'm just so grateful to be able to play with this team. And just being able to play in Division I soccer, week in, week out, it's just getting the best of both worlds, having the opportunity to get a degree. You really have to appreciate what you have. And there's so many kids around the world that don't get these opportunities, so you have to take advantage of it for sure.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and look like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, we have a prodigy. So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. I loved the team. They brought me in like I was one of their own. The professors help out so much. They actually care about developing me, not only so I just memorize the material and able to take a test, but am I able to apply the information. I don't feel nervous asking them, hey, I'm not going to be in class, can you send me something? And they're completely fine with it and they understand, which is the best part. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do. Be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I'm able to go out and become president of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. SAC is consistent of like a ton of different backgrounds, and we'll come up with cool ideas for like fundraisings and having the opportunity to raise money for Make-A-Wish and knowing it's going towards a good cause. Not only motivates me, but it motivates the whole community. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Dear soccer, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be in this position today.
Thank you for being something that is more than just my sport.
Soccer really is the beautiful game, and it will take you more places and give you more experiences than you could have ever dreamed of.
The people that I owe the most to are my teammates. They have been my crutch to lean on, shoulder to cry on, my hype woman in times of doubt, and my best friends day in and day out.
You get to wake up every day and play the sport you love at one of the highest levels at a prestigious university surrounded by your best friends. There is simply no better feeling.
You have given me my best friends, my most trusted mentors, and the most essential experiences of my young life. You are my community. With you, there is no race, no gender, no rich, and no poor. There is just a ball, 2 goals, and a common language.
Thank you for teaching me how to be a strong and courageous woman on and off the field.
Thank you for giving me hope for the future.
On the soccer field, I found a home. That is where I have always belonged.
I've learned a lot of things. I think one of the biggest things is how to cope with people, because I think that at the University of Virginia, and just as you keep moving on in life, you're going to keep meeting many more people. And I think all of the connections that I've made just at the University of Virginia they've become a big part of me. I think even the guys on the team, I consider some of them my family. I mean, I wake up in the morning at 6 in the morning, I'm spending time with them all the way up till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And I think that's one of the bigger things that I've learned is the relationships that I build with people, whether it be on the soccer field and off the soccer field, because even classmates at University of Virginia are some people I consider some of my best friends. And I definitely think connections with people and the bonds that you build with people that I know are going to carry on with me through my entire life, it's definitely some of the bigger lessons I've learned.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
I can't describe how much I learned as a player, but also as a human being, because you have to overcome challenges that you don't face in other areas. As part of the NCAA and obviously the college system itself, being a student athlete, there's so many challenges that not everybody else can relate to, and you have to try to excel in both areas. And now eventually you'll become a leader. Like in my case, I kind of had to step up into that role, and I feel like I've embraced that challenge. And now I love the spot where I am right now. I love how I've matured, become a leader, become the captain of the team, and hopefully I can help the rest of the guys win the Natty.
I was the kid who would do surgery on my teddy bear and have my sister be my patient, and I would wear the stethoscope and the lab coat. I was that kid. Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Dr. News, who is the head of the biology department, definitely has had a huge impact over the past 2 years I've been in the lab. He took a chance on me and actually gives me the power to actually do things. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. I've had so many experiences with underprivileged people, and just seeing that they want the basic things that people get out of life, And if I can help in any way, that just kind of warms my heart. That's why I want to be a doctor, to serve those who have been dealt a bad hand. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. It was just because I bought into myself, because someone bought into me. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
Dear soccer, there are no words to describe my love, admiration, and appreciation for you. From the moment I was brought onto this earth, you were all I knew. You have been with me and have seen me from a young little boy in Brazil to a well-rounded man in America. From all the days and nights kicking the ball at walls, breaking everything at home and making my mom upset, sleeping with a ball under my arms, making fun of my dad for beating him by one goal, never imagined that he will let me in just to see me smile. You were there for me. You were there with me. When we are together, nothing else matters. It's me and you. It's like the whole world disappears. Everything goes away and we just enjoy it. I have always given you my all, my very best. Soccer, you have brought me to a place outside of my comfort zone, gave me an opportunity to live out my dream, and introduced me to my mentors, my role models, and most importantly, my family. You have been my teacher, my biggest fan, my biggest critic, and my best friend. With you, I was able to accomplish milestones that I'll always be proud, experience moments that I'll never forget, make memories that I'll forever remember, and live the life that I always dream about. So thank you. Thank you for turning the little boy who used to break things into the house to the man that I am today. There are no words to describe my love, admiration, and appreciation for you. But there are words to describe the feelings that I have right now, playing in a Final Four, with the greatest team, the greatest coaching staff, with the greatest university, and with the greatest fans. Nothing will ever compare or measure up to this moment. We're not done. I hope to still have you with me for a long time and live many more great memories together. Thank you, soccer.
Good afternoon, folks, and welcome back to the second half of CSI Women's Soccer versus Molloy. Last game of the regular season. Big conference matchup with many playoff ramifications. No less for the home team here. Bit of a difficult first half for the Dolphins. They really struggled to get the ball out of their own half. Defended relatively resolutely, but just errant passing everywhere. Lack of composure, lack of quality. Possible tactical effect of pushing Adriana Melgar out left as we get a chance here early in the half, and the shot was slightly off target from Inganito. That was a thunderous start from the Lions, and they really could have put one in the back of the net right in the first minute or so of this second half. Dolphins looking to pick up the energy, looking to turn a new leaf for these 45 minutes as they have to. They have to get a win here if they want to get into the playoffs. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we will just have to wait and see whether they can make the necessary changes. Hopefully Coach Mendolia was galvanizing his players during the halftime period. Ball sent forward by Albano. Chasing is Marciri, and she will turn up with it. Joe joining us back on the broadcast after helping out the stats team. Welcome back to the broadcast, Joe.
For the final time this season, I've been summoned into the room next door to get them second half starters. We are good, and the Dolphins hope for a good scoring chance here as Radavini moves toward the touchline and sends one off the outside of the net. Now, I misspoke earlier. I said the games the Dolphins would be watching began at 12:30. In fact, the game between Queens and Deauville kicked off at 12 o'clock. So they have started in Flushing, 6 minutes in, no score. We will be monitoring that game throughout the second half. So we'll have scoring updates when they become available from the Queens-Molloy match, as Radavini was nearly played through on a great pass. I believe it was Melgar who sent it right onto her foot. But Smith was able to clear it out of danger from Molloy.
Albano giving to Marr. And it seems really minor, that pass, but that's something you want to see more from Albano, that pass across to switch the field. She's been reluctant to do that.
Molloy with it along the far side into the attacking third. Castro got a foot on it, but nothing more. Marinello was looking to play Inganito through, but Villacrest scoops it up. Inganito had the best chance at the game in the first half. No opportunity there.
The longer this game goes without a goal, Joe, the more intense it's going to get. Both teams are really going to be vying for a victory here. No one's willing to settle.
Molloy only has first round home field advantage on the line today. I'd have to pull up the standings again to see exactly where a draw would put them in terms of securing that first round home field. But the Dolphins need a win and have earned a corner kick. So the Dolphins will attempt their second corner of the match inside of 42 minutes to play in the second half.
You know, it's no secret or no genius sort of input, but the strategy for the Dolphins has just got to be get the ball to Radavini as often as possible, because she has been constantly making things happen whenever she has the ball at her feet.
Dolphins lined up along the top of the box right now. Albano, Carrara, Evola, D'Amico all in that area. Melger standing alongside Radavini in the corner. Kolka in front of goal. That went on to the foot of Evola, and it's stopped by Munoz. She just kept it out. What a chance for Evola on the volley, and an incredible save.
Oh, my goodness. What a play. Firstly, it looked like they organized the corner kick to go exactly that way, so kudos to the Dolphins for pulling that off, but what a save.
That ball sent into the box, and Munoz grabs it. And, Aaron, we have a goal in the Queens-Deauville game. It is 1-0 Queens, just 9 minutes into the first half in Flushing, as the Knights jump out to an early lead. That is bad news for the Dolphins, but obviously the players down on the pitch don't know that, and we will keep it to ourselves up here in the booth. But right now, things not going the way of the Dolphins in Flushing. Still no score here at Dolphins Soccer Park, where CSI will need to take care of business to have any shot at the postseason.
Fortunately, the Dolphins don't need Queens to lose. They just need Queens to not win. So as long as Deauville can come back and force a draw, that would be sufficient, given the fact that the Dolphins win here, which is not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination.
Melger surveys. And she was looking for Radavini, but Radavini just wasn't there yet. Smith is defending with a huge cushion there. Uwe tracks it down, lets it roll onto the foot of Marr. Marr finds Radavini. Smith knocked it away. Headed by Marr. Kolka had it taken by Tepetto. Tepetto. Now Inganito moving in toward the penalty area. Gains a step. Closing in, and the cross is just high over the head of Bustamante.
Really nice run by Inganito on the left side there. Blew past Marr. Couldn't really do anything about it. Couldn't get the shot on target, though. Dolphins will be lucky to get away with that one.
Kolka for D'Amico. D'Amico wanted Melger, and it's headed in the other direction by Murphy. If she doesn't get ahead on that one, it could have been big trouble. Lions once again moving into the attacking third. Tepetto defended closely by Uwe. Kolka comes over, and Kolka commits the foul. She can't believe it, but looked like she may have caught the cleat rather than the ball. Dolphins protesting, and it's going to be a free kick from Molloy.
It's not a great decision there from Kolka. didn't need to stick a foot out there. No threat of a shot in that moment. Player is being ushered out wide. That is Sarah Tepetto. And now you're forfeiting a nice free kick in a good position.
Clock ticks down toward 37:30 remaining in the second half. Pressure only mounts with each passing minute from Dolphin Soccer Park, as that's sent in front and wide. It almost looked like Molloy was trying to play that ball into traffic and hoping to redirect it. Came up a bit short of goal and wide. Goal kick Staten Island. Dolphins give it away again in their own end. That one sent in the air, and Castro looked to clear over the near side. Quick throw in by the Lions. Piotrowski was battling Melgar for possession, and Molloy has it. That's sent toward goal again, but high and wide off the foot of Sarah Tepetto.
Unclear what Sarah Tepetto was going for there. She kind of brushed it off the side of her foot in the fashion that looked like a cross, but it was too goalwards to really be a cross of any kind. Potentially caught in between two minds there was Tepetto. To the Dolphins' advantage.
The Lions once again move into the attacking third. Inganito along the touchline tried to cross, and Albano broke it up. But Molloy is awarded another corner kick.
So far, what we've seen in the second half is mostly a continuation of what we saw in the majority of the first half. And that's not what Dolphin fans want to hear. But with that being said, there's still plenty of time for them to find their momentum, and we've seen that if they can get a moment, they can still get a goal here. That's all it might take.
As long as the Dolphins don't concede a goal, they are very much alive the rest of the way in this game. We've seen them with a couple of great chances, and they hope that it's only going to take one.
Watch what you say, Joe. Watch what you say.
Commentators jinx.
I don't like to hear words in the fashion of as long as they don't concede a goal.
That's a good point. I've been known, especially ahead of a corner kick. Aaron knows. He's been working with me now for the last couple of months. He's aware of the jinx that I carry with my words.
It's a difficult burden to bear. Colleen Rodriguez back on the field for the Dolphins. She takes up the space wide left. Melgar moves to the right.
And Marr forced to concede another corner kick to the Lions. Corner kick number 6 for Molloy.
Everyone back defending for the Dolphins except for Radovini. She stays at halfway.
Marinello will take the corner kick for Molloy. Sent toward the center of the box. And there was a collision there. Albano got a head on it for Staten Island, and Villacrest is able to make the save on the long shot.
It was always going to be a speculative effort from Bustamante there. But it's a shot you kind of got to take as a player. Get the space on the edge of the box.
Dolphins hoped to get a favorable bounce there onto the foot of Radovini. They almost did. Castro for Kolka. Kolka avoids a challenge, keeps it in along the sideline. Rodriguez wants Radovini, could not get it to her, and Kolka sends it off of Smith. Staten Island throw.
Oh, man, there was a chance for a really nice 1-2 there between Rodriguez and Kolka. She chose for the central pass, didn't quite work out, and now there's a foul throw call against Rodriguez.
Certainly not what the Dolphins were looking for there.
No.
Looked like they were beginning to build some positive momentum. And the Lions will concede another throw.
Bustamante let that through her legs. She must have thought that the Dolphins touched it last.
Keenan wins the positioning battle there off the throw, heads it back the other way. Castro sent it in the air. And it ends up on the foot of Pietrowski. Bustamante up ahead for Inganito. She wanted Barriga but could not get it there. Albano plays it with the body. He's trying to shield Inganito away from the ball. Albano for Melger. Smith took it away for a moment. Melger shielding her off the ball. And she draws a whistle.
It's a good job by Melger to make up for the possession loss she was responsible for prior to that foul call.
Free kick Staten Island to be taken by Albano. It's a long one. That clears everybody. Radavini, the nearest Dolphin. And Radavini got to the ball. But unfortunately, she was last to touch it right along the boundary. And it's a goal kick from Molloy.
Never a bad idea with Radavini on the field to lump that ball forwards and let her chase because she is quick and she is menacing.
Melger. And we had an offsides flag. Went against Radavini. Free kick headed by Kolka right toward the midfield stripe. Pietrowski working toward the near side. Sends it into the box where Villacrest is waiting. And Villacrest will scoop it up. That ball skied out toward midfield. Avila looking for Melger. Melger in a foot race with Smith. Could not gain the angle.
Avila's greatest strength in her play is her ability to find creative passes forwards. The problem is that the Dolphins right now are mostly struggling for possession. They need safer passes to keep the ball at their own feet.
Lions have it in the midfield. Tapetto. Set one off the head of Marr. Inganito. Dispossessed by Marr. Kolka. Up toward Radavini. Pietrowski chipped it in the air. It's headed by Kolka. And then intercepted by Kolka. Kolka across midfield. Looking for Rodriguez. And getting there in time to break it up was Bustamante. But the Dolphins are awarded a throw. Rodriguez will throw. That's over everybody. Radavini is there waiting. And Radavini got a piece. Dolphins in the area again. And Molloy is finally able to clear. Uwe meets it. Melger. For Kolka. Kolka dispossessed. Keenan with the takeaway. Kolka looked to get it back, and she does. Here comes Uwe. Uwe toward Radavini. Radavini plays it with the body. And a nice defensive play by Murphy to take it from Radavini. Here comes Molloy.
Really well done by Murphy to use her body and adjust her position to get around Radavini. That's expert.
Uwe taken down. That pass a bit too strong, intended for Inganito. The Lions do keep possession for a moment off the header, but not any longer.
For all the defending that the Dolphins have had to do, it remains true that when they do get forward, there are gaps in the defense. They just have to find the quality to take advantage of the spaces that are there. make that pass as soon as you see it. Recognize the gaps a little bit earlier and put that oomph on the ball to make it go through. It's there.
As of now, it only takes one. And a foul is called. So it's going to be a free kick, if I'm not mistaken.
Really nice work from the linesman there to make that foul suggestion clear to the center referee, who then trusted the opinion of his assistant.
Rodriguez will take the free kick. Dolphins sending a lot of bodies toward the top of the box. High arcing free kick. D'Amico, Albano, and it's cleared. Kolka tracks it down, and we have a whistle. Goes against the Dolphins. Dolphins once again commit a foul, this time on the edge of the midfield. And it's going to be another Molloy free kick. Tepetto will take it as we approach 26 minutes remaining in the second half. Smith runs past it. Tepetto, free kick, center of the box. Headed by Castro, again by Evola, and cleared by Albano. Dolphins get a foot on that pass attempt, hoping to generate something on the attack off of it. But Molloy will wisely head it over the sideline and force the Dolphins to throw. Carrara for Kolka, the Dolphins substitution, ahead of this throw.
Kolka's been putting in a really good effort this half. I felt like she was doing a great job of controlling the midfield. Coach Mendolia wants more attacking options. And it looks like Melger shifted back to her defensive role.
Melger for Evola. Evola, shot, just wide. Good effort by Evola on a long shot attempt, but she could not put it on target.
That would have been something special, Joe. But I really like this tactical shift from Mendolia. Put Melger back in her deep role. I feel like that's where she's offering the most to the team. And in addition, it allows Evola to start going forward a little bit more. And those are the areas where you want Evola to be affecting the game the most.
Another foot race, Inganito and Marr. And the flag is up for offsides. The Lions don't like it.
Big yell from the crowd telling Melger to win every ball. And if I'm being honest, that's pretty solid advice. I think it would be great for her to win every ball.
Dolphins would like that. Crowd can be a bit demanding, though. Carrara, the nearest Dolphin here. May have gotten a small piece, but Molloy sends it toward the far side, and they keep it in. Albano tried to clear it and was able to do so off a line. Dolphins will throw again here. They're inside of 20 minutes to go in the first half in Flushing. It's still 1-0 in favor of Queens. Dolphins need a Queens loss or draw combined with a win of their own. Throw into the box. And the left-footed shot straight into the fence by Inganito, a non-threatening chance. Castro for Evola. Evela dispossessed by Piotrowski. Piotrowski tried to get it to Inganito. And she will let it roll for a Molloy throw. Inside of 23 minutes to play now. Molloy taking their time ahead of this throw. Murphy sent it off the head of Marinello. The Dolphins clear it over the near side. Molloy will throw again, taken quickly by Marinello. A lot of room here for Murphy. Murphy toward goal. And Villacrest grabs it out of the air.
Well done by Villacrest to maintain control of her box. High ball, plenty of time to get under it. She comes and grabs.
That's punted out toward midfield. Ends up on the foot of Castro, now Melger. Melger for Evela. Evela back to Melger. Up ahead, Radavini. Radavini knocks it down and retreats. Back to Uwe. Now Carrara. She redirects for Radavini. Radavini working against Smith, lost it. Sent right onto the foot of Uwe. Uwe had her pass knocked away. Teams exchanging headers in the midfield. Finally, it comes to rest on the foot of Marinello. Sent up ahead by Molloy. Marr back to Albano. Albano up toward Carrara. That pass found her. And now Radavini is working against Smith again. And Smith was the last to get a piece. Throw in Staten Island. We will arrive to take the throw inside of 21 minutes to play. Melger.
Going to see if the Dolphins can kick it up a gear, Joe. They've really got to start testing the goal more at this point in time. No other option.
Bustamante. Give and go. Working it with Inganito. Rodriguez got tangled up, and they call a foul against Rodriguez.
Referee indicated there was a tug on the jersey. I didn't see it, Joe. I really didn't.
I certainly did not. And we had a good view. The action pretty much aligned with us right now.
She's a little upset. Doesn't feel like she has the 10 yards that she's supposed to have. It's a little preposterous considering it's only Rodriguez standing there.
That's sent toward the far post in a dangerous spot, and Villacrest gets there, beating Piotrowski to the spot.
That was a really well-placed ball right in the danger area behind the defense, but in front of the keeper. That ball bounced twice in the box. That is not something you really like to see as the defending team. Thankfully, Villacrest, again, able to come and maintain control of her box, take some pressure off of her defense.
Dolphins throw. And that ball rebounds into the Molloy bench. Lions have it as they work through the midfield. Inganito played through, well wide of the frame, looked to cross, and Castro got a piece. Another corner here from Molloy. They've had quite a few of these. Officially, this will be number 7. It's taken quickly.
Lions are doing a good job with their attack right now. Dolphins are having difficulties.
And Molloy earns another corner.
One of the most prominent things in my viewing of the Lions film was that they were really nice passing it on the ground and being able to pick apart a defense that way, and it's continued to be true.
That corner traveled toward the near post. And once again, the ball sent off of a Dolphin for another Molloy corner.
I think that was an intentional move by Inganito to hit it off of a defender for a corner. So if that's true, very smart decision.
That one headed straight down by Castro. Sent back into the box, headed again, this time by Uwe. Evola. Up the far side. Radovini, the only Dolphin in the area. And the Lions have it again. Villacrest waiting, plays that one on a hop.
These 17 minutes, Joe, they're going to define the season. Although it might not matter unless we hear news of a score change in Flushing.
Still 1-0. 13 minutes to go in the first half in Flushing. But that score doesn't matter if the Dolphins don't find the back of the net soon. 17 minutes to make that happen for the College of Staten Island. And you have to think the level of aggressiveness will turn up.
Unfortunately, it's pretty safe to say that the Dolphins have not looked the more likely to score of the two teams here.
And it's going to be a throw-in from Molloy along the far side.
I think they're actually getting Radovini for a handball here.
Looks like you're right.
Unfortunate deflection. Really nothing she could have done.
$16:20 on the clock at Dolphin Soccer Park. Free kick, a long one toward the top of the box. Dolphins nearly got a very bad bounce off the header by Marr. Flores, excuse me. Tough to make out the numbers. That was 24, not 14. That was Marinello who sent the ball to the top of the box, but it was taken away from Pietrowski. Carrara wanted Radovini, but it's broken up in the back again by Marciri.
I think we're at the point where that's really the Dolphins' best chance to get something on net. Play a ball over the top for Radovini to chase, and hopefully the pass is well placed enough.
Big collision near the top of the box. No whistle. Play continues.
I like that no call from the ref, but he's thinking about stopping the game now for the injury.
Well, Radovini is onside. The ball takes her toward the sideline. The Dolphins bench on their feet now. Radovini working toward the box, tried to cross. Now she'll get into one. Carrara there, but Smith all over her. And the Dolphins are awarded a corner kick.
Oh, man. Good opportunity for the Dolphins, but you can't help but think if that original ball to Radovini was a little bit more central, she could have actually been through on goal.
Yeah, no question about it. The opportunity was certainly there.
I think just as important as this initial cross, Joe, is going to be the Dolphins' ability to maintain attacking possession if this original corner does not result in a goal.
Dolphins have 14 and a half minutes to score. D'Amico with the header off target, and the Lions had two bodies along the goal line in addition to their goalkeeper Munoz there.
Got to keep the pressure up.
Throw-in coming up for the Dolphins. Just over 14 minutes to go. Radovini wanted Evola. That ball had some awkward spin on it, and the Dolphins may benefit from it. Smith sends it away. Kolka gets the body on it. Uwe heads it in the air. Now headed the other way by Molloy. Kolka through D'Amico and a defender. Now on the foot of Evola. Evola back to Albano. Albano, long ball, nobody home.
Not on the same page. Rodriguez was checking back. And Albano had time to see that, but she didn't pick her head up.
Albano intercepts the pass. Albano working toward the center of the pitch. Wants Radovini. It was broken up and sent in the air by Smith. That one over the head of Kolka. Marr in a foot race, just got there in time. Now Villacrest into the midfield. That one clears Keenan. Uwe working against Smith. Radavini got a piece. And Smith, trying to get out of there, is able to. Molloy working up the far side into the attacking third. Melger extended the arm, and there's no question that's a foul.
She was about to lose the foot race, Melger, and she threw the attacker slightly off balance. She knew what she was doing. I think she decided it was a good decision to take that foul instead of let the ball get towards the end line. Going to have to defend yet another set piece, whipping the ball in.
We have 12:20 remaining on the clock here at the College of Staten Island. Still no score. Topeto near post, and Villacrest grabbed it out of the air, only to have it deflect off an attacker and out of play, but the result is the same. Dolphins will have a goal kick here.
Lions substitution into the game for them is number 3, Caitlin Kennedy.
Kennedy was involved in that play that resulted in a yellow card back in the first half. Villacrest dropped the ball, and Kennedy, who was flagged for offsides, then tried to finish. Marr sent it into the midfield circle, comes to rest with Marciri. Carrara chasing her toward the far side, but Marciri got it away. Now Topeto puts one in the air. He's able to find Bustamante, but Albano chips it away. Bustamante working toward the touchline, and Rodriguez will clear over the near side. 11 minutes to go. They had to get a soccer ball as that one was sent well over the fence. Lions will throw into the box. Last touched by Molloy on the header. Goal kick Staten Island. 10:40 to play.
They've been on the back foot almost the entire game, Joe, but the score is still even, and all it takes is one opportunity. They could still most certainly win this game against the run of play.
Over in Flushing, it is still 1-0. 6 minutes to go before halftime. Kolka sends one in the air. Headed by Marciri. It bounces out of play. Dolphins will throw just shy of midfield. And a CSI substitution will come on. Isabella Castro will replace Colleen Rodriguez.
It's an interesting substitution because Isabella Castro mostly has been used as a substitute for her sister in a defensive position.
Looked like Radavini might be able to make a run there, but instead was dispossessed. Now Castro looking for Carrara, and Munoz just got there in time. How about that start for Castro, fresh off the bench? A great ball for Carrara. Munoz got there just in time.
I mean, really a perfectly placed ball. Very impressive, especially coming right off the bench. I think the only chance Carrara had was to use her head, and she went with the foot. Didn't work out.
Cross was blocked by Marr. Kolka sends one over the far sideline. 9 minutes to go. But that last opportunity for the Dolphins was their best since the Evola volley. As that's sent on goal and in. What a shot by Lauren Marinello. And Marinello puts the Dolphins in a very difficult spot with just 8:53 to go. CSI needs 2.
What a goal. Really nicely done by Marinello. She was cornered on the sideline. Did a really nice job to spin out of pressure and find some space. And she just decided, you know, we've been messing around in front of goal so much, I'm just going to rip one. And it paid off. And you can only say it's a deserved lead for the Lions. It really is.
I think that's certainly fair to say. And Marinello may have just secured first-round home field advantage from Molloy with that goal. If they win, they cannot be caught in the race for home field advantage in the first round of the East Coast Conference playoffs. The Dolphins will now need 2 goals. And the chances in terms of quantity just haven't been there for CSI in this game. The quality certainly has been there. And we've seen some great chances, perhaps 2 that very easily could have ended in goals. One off the foot of Radavini that traveled wide. Then a huge save by Elise Munoz on the attempt by Nadia Evela off the volley.
I said after that early Radavini chance that you have to pray you won't come to regret that, and I think they probably are right now, Joe. You can only imagine how different the dynamic of the game would be if the Dolphins had been able to jump out into an early lead. They would have been much happier to sit deep and defend these opportunities from the Lions, but instead they've had to do it apprehensively, knowing that they still need a goal themselves.
And if you take a look at the way the Dolphins have performed against the East Coast Conference this year, the only really bad outings for them were the Buffalo games. The 2 games where they had to travel up to Buffalo. That's about, I think, a 6.5-hour or more trip, depending on the traffic. And that's not easy, to travel that far on a bus and then play a game the very next day. They did that twice this year. And those were the 2 games where the final score did not reflect well on the Dolphins. But outside of those 2 games, the Dolphins have been highly competitive in just about every conference match.
The problem is when you're competitive with those teams, you have to find a way to get at least 1 or 2 results. They really have not been able to pick any results off the teams above them in the standings, Joe. The only 2 conference wins they have are the 2 teams below them.
And as we mentioned during our lead-up to the Senior Day ceremony during pregame, Dolphins are losing quite a few players at the conclusion of the season. They graduate 7. 6 of those on the active roster. As for the men, they only graduate 3. However, 2 of those 3 are team captains.
Coach Mendolia talked to me a lot about the senior class ahead of today's game, and he couldn't say enough about the influence they've had on this roster, especially with the amount of transition that this team has had to go through lately with changes in coaching. He was very grateful for the stability that they've brought to this team on and off the field.
Radavini played that with the head, but unfortunately it bounces straight into the arms of Munoz. Dolphins have .650 to score twice. Munoz directing traffic again, punts one straight up into the air. Lands right along the midfield stripe and deflects over to Kennedy. Albano got tied up. And it's going to be a free kick for the Dolphins.
I didn't actually think Kennedy really did much wrong there, so a favorable call for the Dolphins.
I'm with you. I thought that Albano may have just tripped over the ball in an effort to keep possession with their team. Dolphins need a score. Here comes Radavini, and immediately the Lions were set to triple team her and deny her entry into the penalty area.
It's the right thing for the Lions to do. Radavini is by far the Dolphins' biggest threat.
Corner kick, Staten Island, inside of 6 minutes to go. Radavini sets it up quickly. Corner toward the far post. D'Amico was there, but the ball was just a bit high. Albano wanted to get it to Evela, but instead the Lions clear. Dolphins will throw quickly. Evela for Uwe. Evela chips it in the air, avoids a challenge, now looks to cross toward D'Amico. D'Amico got a piece. The Lions looked to clear and could not. Now they do, but Castro was waiting. It took a bad bounce off her foot, and now Molloy will look to counter. Marr giving chase. Bustamante there as well. And that's going to be a Dolphins goal kick.
I want to note that D'Amico seemed to be in some pain coming down from that jump in the box on the opposite side of the field. She's working through something.
Under 5 minutes to go. Kolka.
Radavini in space.
Looked like that's where Kolka was trying to go with the ball. Uwe throws for D'Amico. and then sends one in the air. Radavini, the nearest Dolphin. Piotrowski with Radavini in pursuit. Radavini was able to win possession back for the Dolphins. Avila wanted Carrara. Ball loose, and Smith tried to clear it, could not, but it rolls onto the foot of Munoz. 4 minutes remaining.
I love the heart that we're seeing from Radavini. She is sprinting around trying to win the ball. Seems like the rest of her team is just tired. They're out of energy. They spent it at the beginning trying to set the tone, and it just hasn't worked out for them.
Albano with some strong defense there. The Molloy contingent wanted a foul. They don't get the call. 3.5 minutes to play. And speaking of Radavini's effort, you mentioned she missed a couple of games with injury. And that injury occurred on one of those high-effort plays. Took a bad fall. And the clock has been stopped.
It's a mandatory head injury stoppage, although she seems to be mostly fine. Procedurally correct move by the referee. Should be a drop ball in favor of CSI's possession.
So they're going to check on Madison Keenan with 3:16 remaining from the College of Staten Island. They have reached halftime in Flushing. 1-0 Queens there. And it looks like Keenan's going to be ushered off. It'll be a drop ball. Keenan allowed back into the game. That was just a procedural exit for her. Melger. A lot of aspiring coaches in the stands. As Melger wanted Uwe. Dolphins lending everything they have to the attack right now. That's sent over the far side. Dolphins will throw quickly. Kolka. Melger. Albano. Albano for Kolka. Kolka. Nearly dispossessed by Piotrowski. Dolphins earn another throw. It's taken quickly. D'Amico heads it up in the air. Radavini played it with the body. Lions wanted a handball, and Molloy will clear it.
Would have been controversial because there was a handball there. I'm not sure if that's what. I think that is what the referee's calling this back for.
Yep.
That's really interesting. Kind of get the feeling that once the play has gone and you don't make the call, you just kind of let it flow.
2 minutes remaining. That one finds the foot of Melger, but it ends up with Marinello, the lone goal scorer in this one. Venegas moves up the sideline into the corner. And Kolka sends it over the far side with 1:40 to play. Molloy will throw, and they are taking their time as the clock ticks inside of 90 seconds. Should the Dolphins season end here, and it appears with just 80 seconds left, that they won't be able to score twice, as Molloy now is content to run time off the clock. But what shouldn't be lost in what would be a disappointing end to the season is that the Dolphins vastly improved over their overall numbers from last year in just about every metric. Dolphins hope they can add one more goal to their 2023 tally right here, but they have the ball taken away in the midfield. That being said, first year under a new head coach, a great deal of improvement. Entered the last day of the season with an opportunity to qualify for the playoffs. And barring a goal here, looks like they'll come up short. But D'Amico not quitting, and Munoz grabs it out of the air for what will likely be one final time. That being said, a lot of improvement from the Dolphins this year, a lot to like. They do graduate some key players from this year's roster, but I think this program leaves you with a lot to look forward to next season.
I agree with that, Joe. I think the more important perspective for this program is the long-term perspective. And there's plenty of things to be optimistic about in that regard.
I think a good way to look at it much of the time, especially when you have a disappointing result, is how you're trending as a program. The Dolphins, of course, became a Division II program back in 2019. They didn't play their first D2 season officially until 2021. They were not eligible for the postseason that year. But last season, they were eliminated from playoff contention ahead of their season finale. And late here in the 2023 season, they picked up a couple of key conference wins down the stretch to put themselves in this position. They had opportunities today. Unfortunately, could not find the back of the net. But despite that, a lot to like from their effort down the stretch of the season. And even in this game very easily could have been much different. As you mentioned, Aaron, the Dolphins have put that goal in off the foot of Radavini in the first half.
There's going to be a lot of regrets and what-ifs and alternate scenarios that could have played out in the heads of Dolphins players. But the fact of this game, unfortunately, is that while it wasn't completely in their control of whether they were going to make it into the playoffs or not, they needed to get it done on their home field on the last day of the regular season, and they couldn't do it. That sucks. And that's going to be a tough weight on the players' shoulders. But this team, I think more importantly than anything else going forward, is that they have an identity. They have a sense of togetherness. They have something to work with and to work towards. And this team feels like it's on an upward trajectory for next season and the seasons to come. I really think Coach Mandoli is doing a good job instilling a culture, but that takes time. Did they want to make it into the playoffs this season? Of course. And especially with the opportunity to do that at the end of the season, it stings. But it's difficult, and Rome's not built in a day. So I think you have to take a step back as a fan of this Dolphins women's team and feel grateful for what is to come, which is potentially better seasons than these fans have been able to experience recently.
Well, the fans were certainly treated to an entertaining game today in what was a must-win game for the College of Staten Island. We still have one more of those games to come, but before we sign off, one final shout-out for our senior class women's soccer, Jackie D'Amico, Coco Rodriguez, Juliana Carrara, among the Dolphin seniors, along with Ariel Uwe, Valbona Suma, Megan Marr, and Gabby Guerra Oaks, the Dolphins senior class. Of course, they were all recognized ahead of kickoff prior to the start of today's game. Each of them played the final match of their collegiate careers today as they will move on from the women's soccer program following their graduation this year. However, the Dolphins did bring on a lot of new faces this year as well. We look forward to seeing them back next season, as well as some of the returners who may assume an even larger role with this team in the 2024 season. But until next August or September, we sign off for the CSI women's soccer season. I'd like to thank everyone who helped make these broadcasts possible all season long. Of course, my broadcast partner, Aaron Cohen, our colleague, Nick Bavona, who I assume is watching from home. I know he said he was going to tune in. Tyler Clark, our engineer, along with Asanatu Afriju, engineering games this year for us as well. We thank all of them who have helped make these broadcasts a possibility, and we hope to hear from all of you again next season. Thank you, everyone who's given us kind words all season long and thanking us for what we do. We certainly enjoy it. We've had a blast. Still one more game to come. Men's soccer coming up next, right back here on CSI Sportsnet, a proud part of the ECC network. Be sure to tune in for that as the Dolphins look to qualify for the postseason with a victory and some help